So raise of hands,
For sure.
how many of you have heard of Between Two Ferns? Nice, nice. So I was trying to think of an idea of a fireside chat, a Q&A, and I didn't want to have any copy infringement, trademark issues. So as you can see, it's Between the Ferns. And a funny thing, as we prepped all this stuff, I hope everyone enjoyed the barbecue. I was thinking of watching Zach Galifianakis, I think is how you pronounce it. You can check out Between Two Ferns on YouTube, or you can see him in the Hangover movie, which is a lot of fun. And I ordered off of Amazon 2 beautiful, round, huge ferns to have sitting next to these lovely gentlemen that we're going to have in the Q&A. And Amazon sent these ferns to me on Monday, and I'm just curious, do you have any significance around what Monday was all about? April Fool's Day. So I want to show you real quick the lovely 2 ferns that I don't have the photo in front of me, but just take a look at these beauties right here. So maybe they can be pom-poms as I'm the sales rep and the cheerleader for the Q&A today.
All right.
But we were trying to dress up the stage a little bit, and now we have our ferns.
Somebody get a picture of that. There we go. Picture.
So real briefly, because I was talking to one of you while we were enjoying our barbecue, the sales rep only has a few minutes, right? Then I need to get the heck out of the way. But I met many of you last year when I was with Cohesity. I was part of the May the 4th Be With You ISSA event, and it's been roughly a year. It's so nice to see a bunch of familiar faces. I help support the greater North Carolina market from the sales side. I have my wingman, Fidel, here, lead architect, and I have my area director, JP, here as well. So if anything catches your eye, anything from the Q&A that's of interest, we'll be around afterwards to hang out, have another, bourbon from one of the lucky winners here today, and we can hop into it. But I just wanted to give you a very brief commercial. Cato Networks is a SASE company. Has anyone heard of SASE before? Raise your hand. Awesome. With those people raising your hand, have any of you embarked on having serious SASE conversations within your firm? So we got a handful there. So what I'm seeing, and the reason why I moved over to Cato, was the buzzword is actually starting to pick up. There's a lot of market analysis around the adoption of SASE. So talking to Rob, I felt this was a very timely discussion to have with you. So not only will we talk about SASE, but we'll also talk about Zero Trust with the expertise of Greg Rasner. So those are also the 2 ferns. We have ZT and SASE as the core topics tonight. My goal with the experience here is we'll leave some buffer for any key questions that the audience might have for these experts. But it's a really exciting company, growing a lot of steam, and I hope you'll give us a look in the future. So thank you so much for your time tonight.
And he's not going to go yet because we have some future for our folks here at Cato. We've got some training coming. We're going to talk a little bit about that shortly, but in every meeting that we do, our focus is to make sure that we have a next run. Most people need training. How many of you are getting budgets for your training right now? Right, that's me too. Well, except for the guy who's got a lot of money. There he is. He's got $4 billion, so we're going to talk to him. The point is that we want to be that hub. So folks are going to us and saying, what kind of training do you have? I had probably 7 conversations tonight about, can you do Linux? Can you do CISSP? Can you help us with Zero Trust? We've got a lot of intellectual property here, and that does include you. We want to have follow-up, so stay tuned for that. We'll talk a little bit more after the presentation.
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome. Oh, please work. Sean, help. All right, here he comes. I swear I'm using this. It's green and I can push it, right?
Darren actually just has the same slide 12 times.
Oh, it's 12 times. All right, well, I hit it one time. I swear I'm hitting the button, John.
Yeah, you just got to click on the presentation.
Oh.
This is a PDF, the last one.
Yeah, okay. How many IT guys thank God Sean's here? I can't tell you how much I appreciate Sean.
The old keyboard trick worked.
All right, very good.
Trying to.
All right, good. So we
Trying to.
I know that guy.
back.
Yep.
Forward. Yay, Sean. Round of applause for Sean. Sean rocks. How many times I've been up here and things don't work. So we do want to do some introductions. I know he won't say much about himself, but he is tonight. So I've known Greg for a long time. A couple of years, and we really appreciate him. Not only is he an author, but but as someone who has his own business, has been traveling around. He's going to be speaking at the Third Party Risk Management Association conference next week. Very excited about that. So we have a lot of luminaries, but Greg, take a few minutes just to introduce yourself, please.
Hey, yeah, so Greg Rasner, I recently was, my most recent employment was at Truist, as SVP leading the third-party cyber risk team there. As you can see, I've written a couple of books, Cybersecurity and Third-Party Risk, followed it up with Zero Trust and Third-Party Risk, mostly because, as we've seen, a breach of your third party is now mathematically inevitable, and Zero Trust is the only strategy known out there. And again, Cato Networks has a lot of products that really address some of those Zero Trust issues and capabilities. I'm working on a third book, believe it or not, Privileged Access Management Strategies for Zero Trust in the Enterprise, and fall-ish, hopefully, right? Getting back and forth with editors is always fun. And then speaking of training, I've developed training in collaboration with Third Party Risk Association called Third Party Cyber Risk Assessor Training and certification. The certifications through Pearson View, so you can take it anywhere you want. And then there's a couple of things I've done in the last 20 plus years. Thanks.
Great guy. So we really appreciate it.
Yes, a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are things that we want to highlight. If you have questions about this, we're all struggling with third-party risk management. If you're not working. So the most important thing is we have to understand this. We got training coming. So, Evin, give us a bio, sir. Tell us about yourself.
That's me. So I'll say that I got into technology so that I would never have to talk to anyone. And that's worked out really well, apparently, yeah. So I used to be smart, and the whole point of this slide is that I used to be smart. So I started in IT, infrastructure, operations, and security. Eventually went over to vendors to be a SE and do some other things. And now I'm here at Cato, and it's a great time. And it's nice to meet you, and I'm sorry I don't like to talk to any of you.
He's going to fit in well. I know. This is going to be good. So here's the question. Here's something that I want you to think about. Now, I'm learning from you guys. I've got prizes up here. I got prizes up here. You can't see them. They're good ones. I picked them up. So if you ask questions, I may give you a prize. So here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to kind of start. I want you, the audience, I want a couple of people, please, to define zero trust, and can you buy zero trust? I'm going to start up here with our panelists, and then I want you to think about that. If you can give us a good definition after you hear these experts talk about it, I'd like you to share that. What does it mean to you? And more importantly, do you think you can buy it? So we'll start. Evan, start us off. Tell us a little.
Well, I'm sitting next to a guy who wrote 2 books on it, so I don't know, I'm a little nervous.
Give me a couple of Z's grading you after this, so that's why I wanted to start with you.
So
Fine.
in response to this question, right, can you buy zero trust? No, but you can be sold zero trust, right? So vendors will tell you that they are selling you a product that is zero
played,
trust.
Aaron,
right?
well played.
So, effectively, right, I think zero trust is a strategy that is thought about in different ways. And I read some of Greg's book, which is great, by the way.
What is it, for your insomnia? Did you grab it like at the end of the day? Was that the issue?
No, this was on the plane.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
on
All right,
the
all right,
plane.
It's better than a
It
night
was a
owl,
little
yeah.
tight,
Yeah,
you know,
good.
but, so I got through about 2 chapters, and I'm going to pick up the rest later, but effectively, too.
I'll call you at the end of the week and ask
All
how
right.
it went.
I don't talk to people, remember?
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
So,
Neither do I.
you know, what I'll say is he references John Kindervag, who really originated this term, and
Right.
I worked with him at Palo. He's a great guy, but what I think is interesting about zero trust is it means different things to different people. And, you know, like all things, it's evolved over time, right? And it started as kind of this framework for really just, you know, don't trust anything, verify, make sure you are minimizing the blast radius, right? So you want to provide the least amount of access as possible. But for me today, it really means that we should be looking at traffic, as much traffic as possible, right? If something is passing through our network or going from our network to the internet, we need to be inspecting it for threats. And now I'll let Greg give you a better answer.
Greg.
I'm going to kind of glom off of yours a bit. It is a strategy. I spend a little bit of time in the book saying it isn't a tool. It's not a technology. A vendor cannot solve it for you. It is people processing technology wrapped up in a strategy. I think the challenge for most organizations is they don't do strategy very well, right? They do tactical really well. I'm going to go fix this. I'm going to go fix that. I'm going to go over here. And run around like chickens without an idea of where's the end point. What do we want to look like when we get to the end point? And that's where I think the challenge for zero trust in a lot of organizations is they're very tactical as opposed to, like, and again, I'm going to repeat myself if you read the book, unfortunately, but in World War II, the Allies had a strategy, complete surrender of the Axis powers. And everything after that was subordinate to that goal. If you have a zero trust strategy, everything follows for that strategy, right? You choose technology, peoples, and process that will get you zero trust as an outcome, right? So strategy, I think, is where a lot of folks fall down on, and I think that's why it's such a challenge for a lot of organizations.
Sure. So how many of you are dealing with third parties? Everybody? How many of you know how many third parties you have? How many of you have looked at the legal contracts? How many of you know the language of any of those legal contracts when you have a problem? Yeah, me too. So the important part about this is you've got to really understand it. Now, personally, in the past probably month or so, I go back and somebody would ask me a question. They said, Rob, we're having an issue with this particular vendor. What do we do? It's like, where's your contract? I'm like, what? It's like, let me see the contract. And I read this contract and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. And I'm reading this. I'm like, well, how can we hold them accountable? We'll get their log data. Well, this doesn't say you can do that. There's risk and then there's organic. Who's signing those contracts? So there's some pieces of this. There's a lot of what I would call the preparation that we really need to kind of think about. So as we're talking about zero trust, as we're going through this, I know it's a pretty good graphic, right? Greg, kind of walk us through just a little bit, and we see devices, data, infrastructure. Give us a glance on this.
Oh, God, geez, I didn't realize there was going to be a quiz at the end of this, Rob.
Yeah,
What
I'm
the heck?
sorry.
All right. All right.
Welcome to my panel. sir.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to have to get up off of the Fern here, off
right.
the thing. So I think Aaron hit it really well on the context issues, right? So let's
Evin.
say, oh, Evin, did I say, what did I say? Aaron? Oh, I said Evin, I'm sorry. Evan. Yeah, I don't talk to people, so I forget their names. So,
If this isn't between two ferns, man, you guys are hilarious. All right.
so on all of these issues, let's go back to what we talked about, and he mentioned John Kindervag. John Kindervag coined this term, zero trust, around no more Chewy centers, okay? So, and the idea was that we had two types of networks. We had trusted and untrusted. And just because you were on one side of the firewall, that meant you were untrusted or trusted. That was it was silly, right? And all our logging and monitoring was focused on the firewall. Pretty much that's it. What was going on across the firewall, what was hitting the firewall on the outside, and what was trying to get out the firewall from the inside. That's pretty much it. Let's take infrastructure. Let's take IoT devices. How many of your organizations do you think have IoT devices that are not in your current CMDB?
Every damn one.
Probably all of you, right? How much do you think it's in the vendor CMDB either? Nobody. So again, there's one issue right there. Identity is key to zero trust. All right. If you don't know who's attaching to your network, I guarantee you it's not who you think it is. Okay. So context aware, understanding things like privileged access management, identity access management with a GRC overlay on it, doing PAM, PIM, other devices. Devices, I kind of hit on that a little bit, the infrastructure, but IoT devices are really key in this part. Anything attaching to your network, you have to know what it is, what it's doing, and the permissions need to be appropriate for the level of access it's supposed to have, okay? Applications, somewhat similar. There's really not much difference between that and applications. The big issue for us in applications zero trust is 90% of our applications are now SaaS. We almost never run anything internally anymore for the most part, right? How many of you run an Office 365? Probably most of you, right? And the rest of you have things like Salesforce and everything else is all software as a service now. And we don't know how to approach these things in a context-aware network, and we don't understand how hybrid cloud works. We don't understand the shared responsibility model, and that really leads to both problems on the zero trust side as well as the third-party risk side. Can I stop now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a breath. Bring you a fern.
Oh, you're welcome, Steve.
That's hilarious. Okay, audience time. I have prizes. I want somebody with show of hands. What's your definition of zero trust? All right, go. Come up here. You got to come up here. Come here. Come on. Bring your beer. Give me another mic.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I got mics galore. Hold on. All right, stand down here.
Yeah, I'm not going to be as wordy as these two gentlemen because they don't talk with them. Zero trust is about destination. No, it's not. It's about the journey. And it's a never-ending journey.
Nice.
It's a project that is going on forever, right?
Okay, I like it. All right. lock pick set. Don't forget your wine.
Oh, my wine.
Don't forget your wine. Good French accent, you need wine. All right, come on, sir. You gotta love our panels. They rock, don't they? Yeah, come on.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep it pretty simple because I
Simple.
like this diagram a lot. Actually, I think the right side of this diagram is about how do you define the identities, devices, and applications and the policies associated to those to give you access to this side. That's basically the way I see this. So I don't know if that's a good definition, but that's, I won something, so it must be okay.
Hey, what is that?
All right. See, the cool thing about this is where we can lean off other people. What this means to you is important for us to talk about it. Now, for me, and I definitely want to kind of bring this a little bit home before we move on to our next question is, what do you see in the market? So you talk to a lot of companies, right?
I mean, I try not to,
I try not to, okay.
but
But let's say that you did. What are you seeing? What are they concerned about? What do they come to you and say, I can figure this out?
so half the time, and I'll be completely candid here, they don't know what they're concerned about. They're concerned. They're very concerned, but they don't know exactly what it is. And I'll say that the biggest problem there is, for these areas, and then even beyond these, right? If you look at like security as a whole and all of the things that we have to secure, it's a lot. But what's great for vendors, and I work for a vendor, so don't fire me, but is that there is 1,000 products in each of these areas that they can sell you. And the problem is, as we've grown over time, right, we have new threats, we have new things we have to secure, we have new things we're doing, we're buying products to solve a solution, right? Very tactically to the point is we've been just getting by, we need to do this, let's do it now. And the problem there is there's not enough time, not enough money, not enough power to really get all these things to work cohesively, right? So there's tons of inconsistency across all of these product areas. And, for me, the bigger the company that I've worked for or I talk to, they have, 1,000 security policies across, 500 different types of security applications, software, devices, whatever it is. And the net result is what we see, right? Companies make security investments and they still get breached. And I think that is one of the biggest problems that we're facing is that things are too complex, there's too many things, and they don't work nicely together. Even sometimes when they have integrations, you lose some of that ability to really have the same level of control or the same level of data quality and visibility that you do when you have something that is really a platform designed to work together. And platform is the new popular word, so I'll just keep saying it for you guys so you get used to it. And then when other vendors say it, you won't be as shocked. But in reality, right, as time goes on, I'm sure you guys all have unlimited budgets and they're growing every year. You have, tons of headcount and team members, so it probably won't be a problem. But what I understand is, there's a lot happening, a lot of things to secure. And to be honest, I think that the bad guys, they get paid better than we do. So there are going to be more of those guys too.
All right. So what I think of when I think of this is inconsistency. Inconsistency. A policy that doesn't span like it's supposed to, or it doesn't attach to another policy. We have these broad strokes and they come back and say, well, it's not working. Well, there's not, how many people are actually talking to their GRC people or actually talking to the engineers? Not too much. Any of the policies you read, are they consistent? How old are they? How many of you have a policy that hadn't been rewritten in 5 years? Don't raise your hands because I don't know which company you work for. All right, every one of them. All right, well, that's kind of getting to that point. So since I've been, I know many of you, we have these sidebar conversations. We're not here to to say, oh, well, everybody's terrible. But having these conversations helps. It helps us to get consistency. And if you don't know what's going on within your network, get somebody who does. One of the very first jobs I had was working for a pen test company. Any of you ever heard of Alan Harper? Anybody ever heard of the book called Gray Hat Hacking, The Ethical Hacker's Handbook? Okay, if you've heard of that, Alan Harper was my first boss in IT. He was a retired Marine Corps major. That was fun. When I worked for him, if you were 10 minutes early, you were on time. Yeah, he was great. Actually, it was a very learning time. What I found from that, though, is that he would come in, just like we're having these conversations, and he'd bring a smart person in. He'd be that smart person to come in and teach. And eventually what you do is you teach that person. Once that person learns, then you work yourself out as a consultant to come out. But we need more smart people coming in. I've worked casinos, banks, federal government, you name it. And what I have not seen is consistency. What I will say is there has to be more consistency as we go along. So one of my favorite things, and we'll start with some stories. We love stories, and I'm coming to the audience. If you have one, think of one that is sanitized, please. And any favorite security stories to share. So Evan, we'll start. What you think?
Why do I always have to go first?
Oh, because you don't like to talk to people. That's why.
Neither does Greg.
I know.
Greg?
I don't want to go.
Oh, gosh. All right. So
I didn't plan any of this, by the way. This is these two awkward guys up here. It's fine. Go ahead.
Very awkward.
Yes,
you should
I
see
know.
the things my wife says to me. So this story to me is both funny and also kind of horrific at the same time. So there is a retailer, and that's the most information I'll give you because otherwise you'll probably figure out who they are, that I talked to in the past. And this was the best part is, we were breached, we got ransomware. It was a very sophisticated attack. And then it happened 3 times. And I'm like, wait, hold on. 3 times. All right. So tell me about this extremely sophisticated attack. Well, we have a supplier, and apparently they were compromised, and they sent us an email. And then, obviously, because we know who they are, we clicked on the link in the email. And I'm like, hold on. Wait. What was sophisticated about this attack? And I'll say this is like a common theme that, there's a lack of security understanding by technical people who aren't really in security, which I think is part of their problem, right? They run very lean. They have a very small technical team, and on that team is not a security guy, like not a security guy, not a security girl, no one that even has, a sense of what they should be trying to implement and where they should be going. And in a lot of ways, I think that's common in IT. Like when I worked in IT, we never updated anything because one time we broke something and our CEO yelled at us, so never again. No, we can't break anything ever again. And I'm like, okay. But I think that the story, resonates because for me, the first time I think was enough or should have been enough to at least go to your leadership or whoever and say, listen, I have a great team and we're keeping the lights on. We're doing great things, but also we need to have some more focus on security so this doesn't happen again. And I think by the 3rd time, they finally decided that they should do something, but I don't know that they ever did. So just be careful where you shop.
All right, mine's a bit of a way back. It's a funny one, but this really happened, Greg.
Does it involve a Captain Crunch whistle?
Oh, I won't tell that one then. Oh, never mind. I'll tell another story. So anyway, I was. This is back when I was doing help desk. So this dates me quite a bit. You have to cut me in half and count the tree rings. But so I got a call. Hey, Greg, my computer's from the receptionist. Hey, Greg, my computer's acting funny. So I go up. This is Windows 3.1, by the way, so now you know exactly how old I am. so, and that's how long ago I was on the help desk.
Hold on a minute.
Anyway.
Millennials, we'll talk about this
Yeah, we'll
later.
talk about it afterwards. There actually was a Windows 3.
I'm offended by this.
Yeah,
You'll be okay.
it'll be all right. And then, and so I start messing around with it. Oh, it looks like you got a virus. I came in sick last week. I'm so sorry, Greg. Please put your computer in the box. I'm going to give you an abacus and an Etch-a-Sketch, and that's all you're going to get from now on. All right. The serious story, I'll tell you real quick, though, is a scary story. And it goes towards, on the third-party risk side, that we don't think about termination of vendors often enough, because we hang on to vendors for dear life. Like we love them and we can never let them go. And so a couple years ago, I was with another company who shall remain nameless. It wasn't Truist. I'll just say that, okay? It's not my current company because I own my company. And we were switching data centers, okay? And so moving everything from old data center to new data center. And we get to the closet where all the telecom stuff is, and there's 3 routers left there. The hell are those for? Wow, there's some lights going on those things too. Those are still working. All right, so you start investigating. It turns out these are 3 vendors that have been off-boarded, one for 7 years, the other for a couple of years. They never disconnected. They've had connection for 7 or more years in some cases. On live, by the way, what makes it worse, it gets worse, wait, there's more. End of life, end of service equipment, right? So this is, if it's 7 years, it's not been touched for 7 years. And it was already end of life 5 years before that, right? So So again, there's a lot of issues in this space. I tell my story because I think I want to emphasize, we don't think about terminating vendors enough in access network and access issues. That's a perfect example. That will happen every single time if you don't figure out that that stuff's supposed to be in your CMDB, and you have a checklist at the end. I hate checklists normally, but a checklist on an offboarding is where you want it your most. Because did I unplug the router? Oh, wait a second. I gotta go to the data center for that. Okay, all right, now I gotta go to the data center, right? That's what was missed.
Yeah. So I've got a prize. Anybody got a story that's sanitized?
I know Al Molik's got good stories. I got one that's sanitized. Dang. So the ex-Marine.
Come on, Al. No? All right, come on up. Come on. Don't be scared. You'll be all right.
I don't bite, but I don't know about Greg.
Great bites. I got it.
All right, I've got one company I worked with that'll remain nameless. We had a satellite security group that came in from another company, and they set up shop in a different state from where the main headquarters was. And they asked for their own AD server, and they didn't go through channels, and they just asked through back channels and got an AD server in this other state. And during COVID, they were leasing a building on a credit card, which was not a great thing. And during COVID, nobody was going in, so the VP that was in that other state decided, oh, we're just going to cancel that contract, and if we need to go back, we'll just lease another building. So they just turned the lights off, walked away, and about 2 or 3 years later, after COVID, they started getting a ping from the server that was having problems. And I'm like, where is this server? And they got a phone call from the leasing agent who was leasing this building to somebody else, and there's this piece of equipment with lights flashing, and he wants to get rid of it. And so they said, well, what is it? Oh, it's this server. Read the code off of it. Oh, that's an AD server, and it's still running 2 years later, and somebody else has possession of the building.
Sam, you get a prize for that one.
That's a hold
good
my
one,
beer
yeah.
moment, right?
Woo! That was all right. That was wow. All right. So what about SASE? New fashion statement? I didn't write this. SASE, lively, bold, and full of spirit and cheeky. Greg. No, just kidding. All right. So before we mosey on, I want to throw my security story in. Company we were working with decided they were going to terminate the IT director. Bye-bye. He'd been there for 31 years. So 31 years, decided to say, see you later, time to go. When they terminated him, they walked him in. Company I was working for supposedly removed all the rights, took care of everything, right? Everything was good. We left some equipment running to kind of monitor the traffic going in and out. An employee called this person on their cell phone and said, hey, can you change my password? I can't get the new person to do anything. Well, they had made an agreement with that person that they would not touch that network at all for a period of 5 years or greater. Don't touch it, stay away from it. You get a severance package, and it was a pretty hefty severance package. This person decided to walk back in, had a back door. Walked back in, monitored it, came in, changed the password for someone, turned around, walked back out, was covering tracks. Of course, they were collecting all that. Person lost $500,000 in severance package just to change a password. So the point is when you have these processes, you have things that happen and you watch them. I know for those who are coming into IT, you're like, no way this is going to happen. Yes way this is going to happen. Process is important. Understanding who these third parties are, making sure you sever those relationships. Here's the other thing. Make sure you understand what that third party is doing, what kind of access they have, how often is that looked at. Sometimes people have had access forever, authorization creep. Somehow they move departments or they give them extra abilities, and all of a sudden they don't take away the old ones, and all of a sudden they're a super user. And they're like, well, how did they get all that? Well, we never took that away. How many people know that they're working with less and less people right now? It's everybody. So people are leaving supposedly, right? So what does that mean? That means we're picking up more rights and having to do more work. It's kind of scary. We want to think about this, but I'm going to turn it over and we're going to talk a little bit about the cloud platform. So I'd go through this very beautiful slide. Kind of tell us a little bit about it, please.
All right, Greg, let's hear it.
Go, Greg.
Hi,
It's
I'm Greg.
pretty.
No,
It's your slide.
I thought Darren was going to do this, so it's not my slide. I just present it 5 times a week. So SASE in a lot of ways is akin to zero trust in that it's now a very overused term, right? So even I think we as Cato overuse the word or acronym or whatever we want to call it. But in reality, what SASE represents is a fundamental shift from, delivering security via an appliance or at the edge